Wife holds back tears after husband gives her epic surprise. Long-term relationships are special in many ways. Not only do you get to share your life with someone you adore, but you always have that person on your side. While that may be true, couples who've been together for a while can start to become comfortable, and the days can start feeling pretty routine. That was the case for married couple Erik and Brittany Mallasch from Anchorage, Alaska. This seemed like an ordinary day, but Erik had the surprise of a lifetime for his doting wife. He told her he wasn't going to work that day, and that's when things got interesting. Long-lasting relationships are indeed a blessing. With all the greatness that comes with them, it can be easy to forget the little negatives that come along with them as well, like getting too comfortable. Falling into a repetitive groove can be a challenge, but a couple can work at it. For Erik and Brittany, they understood this issue all too well. Thankfully, their rut acted as a catalyst and inspired something magical. Just what could it have been? The couple got married in 2006 and have 3 children together. For the past decade, they've been focused on providing their family with basic needs. That's a challenge for a lot of parents. Sadly, when you're doing that, you often put everyone else's needs ahead of yours. They also put their work on a pedestal ahead of themselves. It's a tough game, but the rewarding moments are worth it when you sit back and reflect. Erik's business was woodworking. He had his own YouTube channel where he used the nickname The Naked Carpenter. On the internet, having an attention-grabbing name only helps, so calling himself that was a great business choice. He would usually spend most of his mornings filming himself and showing what progress he was made with any projects he was currently crafting. He did a lot of work for his friends and family members, not to mention clients. At a certain point, after gaining enough followers, you start bringing in viewers on YouTube. That's what happened with Erik as The Naked Carpenter. People loved tuning in to see what he was up to. His innovative creations amused many people as they waited to see what he would do next. Still, none of them were prepared for his greatest work yet. In fact, he wasn't sure he was ready for what would happen next either. The loving husband and father dedicated most of his marriage and parenthood to making sure his family was in good hands. That's the noble thing that any dad would do. Erik recognized that he spent a lot more time focusing on his family's needs rather than having fun. That realization led to Erik coming up with the brilliant idea that would shock many people, especially his wife. What on earth could it have been? While Erik could have certainly used his carpentry skills to put together something sensational, he went another route. That's an excellent tactic because that way Brittany's surprise level would be through the roof. To figure this out, Erik had to think long. He asked himself what his wife would really want most in life. After being married for so long, what would make her heart melt and bring her excitement to levels he hadn't seen in a while? After spending some time trying to figure out what to do, he had to put the plan in action. He felt like a young boy waiting for Christmas as the idea went into motion. Like a child waiting to open his presents, he wanted to tell her already, but he knew he couldn't reveal it, so biting his tongue almost became something of a game for him. Then the morning came to tell the news to his wife. On the morning Erik planned on telling his wife, he gathered some random but essential things from the house. After putting the items together, he made his way to the bathroom where Brittany was getting ready. It was a fast-paced morning and the energy was high, at least on Erik's end. His excitement almost matched that of his wife's once she would find out what the secret was. We can only imagine how Erik was feeling inside. Finally, Erik came into contact with his lovely wife, but when she saw him, she couldn't help but laugh. For starters, he told Brittany that she didn't have to go into work that day, which was odd. Following that, he started handing her various clues. What was running through her mind? We know she was laughing, but what else consumed her thoughts? Did she think this was a joke, or was she taking it seriously? Erik handed Brittany a brown paper bag, and she became stumped. Did he expect her to use it for some particular reason? Because he'd done such a great job at keeping things under wraps, she played along. It took a little encouragement, but she dipped her hand in the bag to see what was inside. Much to her surprise, she didn't expect to feel what she did. What do you think it was? The suspense was high, but after Brittany reached into the bag, she finally learned what was inside. To her astonishment, it was a folded pink note that would change her mood for the better as she unfolded it. Finding out what the surprise was through the written word only adds to the excitement. Once Brittany read it, Erik then confirmed it and made it all the better. What do you think the note said? Erik had promised Brittany $500 in spending cash and had finally made good on his promise. Of course, Brittany appreciated the money as any other person would, but that didn't eliminate her confusion. The loving mother still couldn't figure out what Erik was planning, and the pressure kept building. It sounds like Erik did a fantastic job at planning this out and making sure Brittany wouldn't quickly determine what the big idea was. It was only a matter of time before she learned the truth. There were still more clues left to be discovered. After the pink note and some money, Brittany pulled out a green neck pillow. What could she possibly need a neck pillow for anyway? Brittany began to assume that her husband was playing a cruel prank on her. No, he was just very calculated in his moves. And there was still more to come. Brittany was going through a whirlwind of emotions that would soon reach a peak. Finally, the most important clue surfaced. It was something that Brittany would never have expected in her wildest dreams. Her facial expression said it all after she realized what might be happening after receiving her passport. It took her a couple moments to piece together what was going on, but she got a general idea. Yet there was still a crucial element that needed to be revealed. What could the last thing have been? The moment of truth had finally arrived. There was still one more item left in the bag, and Brittany was about to find out what it was. The previous clues were all over the place, so this last one had to wrap everything up. After taking out a green neck pillow, a passport, a letter, and being told she didn't have to go to work that day, it all made sense, and Brittany was in utter shock. The big reveal was here, and it couldn't have been more epic. I just took 10 days off, and we're sending you to Germany, Erik excitedly said. Wow, he was taking her to Germany. Brittany had never been more surprised in her life. It was a fabulous surprise that she couldn't have been more grateful to receive. At first, she thought she was going alone, but that wasn't the case at all. Brittany would have some company. Brittany wouldn't be traveling alone because her best friend would be tagging along. Brittany was still in utter disbelief at all of this and could barely contain herself at this point. She could really use the time away from work. Still, there was one last surprise Erik had. The man was pulling surprises out like clowns emerging from a clown car. Brittany was leaving soon, and by that, we mean very soon. This day was one of the best that Brittany had ever had. We said the flight was leaving soon, and by that we meant in less than 24 hours. Erik planned for her to spend the last hours she had in America with her family. After getting those last bonding moments in, Erik would need to take her to the airport soon enough. Brittany had no idea she was about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime with her best friend right there with her. Erik is a wonderful husband. Even after all those significant surprises, Erik saved the best for last. He told her the game plan, and that's when Brittany could feel the tears swell in her eyes. So you fly to Germany tomorrow morning at 3 a.m., he said, before adding, and I'm going to watch the kids. Not only would she be away for some time with her best friend, but Brittany also wouldn't have to worry over who was going to watch the kids during this time. It was very evident that Erik's surprise was worth it and made his partner extremely happy. Not many would have had the smarts to conduct such a masterfully planned getaway experience for their significant other. Many might have been caught in the process. Not Erik. He kept his wits about him and ended up delivering a very touching moment for his wife. He knew Brittany was a hard worker and that she deserved time to herself. Traveling to Germany was something she always wanted to do.